YouTube, Dawson Rider here. Welcome to my review for Kamen Rider Gavv episode 14, the conclusion to our two-part cake double feature. A very unique form debut where part 1 debuted a cake-based ability form, and then this one we get our first super form with the caking form. And I gotta start off by saying, a lot of times when you do review channels or channels in general, you get people in the comments unactualing and correcting. And I had probably the funniest correcting last week's review, people correcting me for calling it a roll cake instead of a log cake. I know those can be called log cakes. I've seen them be called both. I've seen a jelly version be called a jelly roll cake, but I just thought that was really funny, of all the things that's so unimportant. And plus, if you call it a roll cake, you get to make the "they want you to take the rolls" joke. Fine. Yeah, kind of unique that you have these two forms sort of tied together in this cake storyline. And this is kind of a funny episode because there's a lot of dramatic and dark stuff going on, but a lot of very specifically weird toku stuff going on where there's a lot of emotional beats about the cake when he's talking about what the cake means and the emotional ties of it that you're simultaneously watching, and it's kind of funny, almost like a parody of itself, but the emotional weight also does hit to a degree, which is just kind of nice. But last week, we ended with a literal cliffhanger when when Shoma got yeeted off of a cliff, and he makes it back to the shop, and Sachika's super worried about him, and returning to the shop multiple times, beaten up, is just reminding me of that scene at the end of Amazing Spider-Man where he finally brought the eggs, but he's beat to all hell. And also every scene in Daredevil when Matt comes into the office, at the end of the day, or at the end of the day, the beginning of the day, and he's also beaten up. I've been rewatching the Defenders show, so that's on my mind. But anyway, it kind of hones in on that Sachika's worried about him and he wants to get back to her. Again, very much wondering when she's going to learn the secret. But it kind of ties to the idea of him having kind of a miserable childhood and only knowing misery and stuff, but him being with Sachika and making food together makes him happy, and one of his goals is to protect that and to make sure that he doesn't bring her misery by coming home dead. You don't wake up dead, man. How do you turn up missing? I thought that worked really well. Again, just to talk about the cake and him saying oh, I need to protect the meaning of my cake or whatever he said. It comes off almost as funny, but I do really feel like they sold the emotional beat of him enjoying making the cake for and with Sachika and how all that tied together. I'm just so surprised how well all that worked. But it's his determination that to protect the happiness of Sachika and the happiness he's found and what the cake means revolving around that kind of makes this cake form. And this might be one of the only times that toku nonsense has worked for me, in the sense that there's a lot of different gadgets and forms and mecha and all that stuff that just come out of thin air through sheer force of toku stupid thinking. But this time it actually made sense because the forms come from his body organically in general. And there's something kind of special about him and the way it works with whatever he's made up of as well as what was done to him. And the idea that this kind of extra determination or whatever would pop out this specific one kind of made sense. It does appear that it's a permanent one, because I was thinking I was thinking about this. I'm is he going to have to eat special foods for these super forms? But it appears this one's permanent, and it also makes him a little bit tired. Does that mean we're going to get a slight evolution where he's not tired? Because that's a literally, no pun intended, but a tired trope of the ability form either making them, not ability form, but a super form or a mid-series form making them tired or evil. There's no in between. It's tired or evil. And then you have to have a related form that makes them not tired or evil. Anyway, I was curious about that. But that's interesting that one seems to be permanent and he doesn't have to eat more cake. But I mean, I'm sure you probably want to just eat cake for fun. But yeah. Anyway, that was the primary drive of the episode, was the debut of this and the quote-unquote, not final fight, but the fight against the twins. And then you did have Honto briefly fighting off the monster of the week from last week, which he learned a little bit more about stomach ink and stuff, but it very much felt like an afterthought in that. But it was really crazy with the final fight with the twins in the episode, not the final fight overall. But you learn a little bit about why they hate him so much, as they kind of feel that they've lost a lot and it's all his fault. And they flash back to that birthday time when he, got those flowers destroyed that he gave him or whatever. And that basically, their family all ran off at the birthday dinner, and that the dad wasn't even there because he was working on Shoma's stuff. And they basically blame him for all the ways they were abandoned up till now. And when you get to the final fight, it's crazy that they actually killed one of them off for now. I mean, the remaining one still has their USB or whatever it is that's still broken, so I feel the door's definitely open for them to be revived. I was just shocked they went through it though, especially when he's doing the finisher and he's flashing back and he's I would have been another lifetime, it would have been great to do laundry and taxes with you, which would be weird because they're their brother and sister. But it just felt like such an emotional sentiment that I honestly thought at the last minute he was gonna stop, but I'm like, you can't, because this is the debut of the form, and like, how are you gonna properly show off the form if you stop the final attack? Or he was gonna like curve the blast or something, but no. He went for the kill, which was crazy and unexpected and kind of great. It treated him like just a real deal villain and not just like, I can't do it because Toku. Like, honestly, again, I'm like 90% sure the other one will be brought back because they still have the little USB soul thing or whatever. But I was shocked. And she does make a sacrifice by pushing, I think it was the sister that pushed the brother out of the way. And so it didn't get the one that was being aimed at, I guess. I think he was aiming for both of them. It's just like, I'll probably hit one, it'll be fine. But anyway, I was just shocked about that. I thought it was a pleasant surprise. Again, just because I always complain about how they have to redeem all the human feeling characters, and I've been saying I'd be shocked if at least most of his family didn't get some sort of redemption. So I'll be very interested to see where that goes. That didn't resolve the way I thought it would. And speaking on the form itself, I think it's a really great form. In fact, I think it's my favorite Gavv suit for sure. You know what, actually it's my favorite overall suit. Like, I like the Valen suit fine, but yeah, this is a great suit. Like, if you watch the channel, you know I'm a sucker for a good white toku suit Sentai Rider. And this one looks really cool. Like, it incorporates the cake frosting theme in a way that it's like obvious, but it's not like too in your face obvious, like the donut form. It just looks really cool. And I really do like how these two were tied together in this story. It was kind of interesting. But yeah, this show continues to be really great. I really, really enjoy it. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It was really nice, like, palate cleanser, which is kind of funny to say since it's so food-based after Boom Boondra this week. Not that Boom Boondra was awful, but it was just such a run-of-the-mill filler when we're, like, 10 episodes away from the end, and then this episode was, like, so great, and it's, like, episode 14. Like, I feel like these should have been reversed. This type of episode was, like, an episode 40 level, and the episode that Boom Boondra had was, like, an episode 14 level. That's a sneak peek at my Boom Boondra review, which I actually recorded before this for some reason, even though that this will come out before the Boom Boondra review. Review? Weebly wobbly, timey-wimey. Anyways, guys, that's about it for this one. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell to get notifications for my videos. Dawson Rider, signing out.